Writers know how to craft unforgettable endings for their characters, but when it came to the ending of their own lives, some of the world's greatest authors left behind mysteries darker than any story they ever wrote. Imagine this: the man who gave us the Raven is found half conscious in a gutter, dressed in someone else's clothes, mumbling a name no one could ever explain. Or imagine a young poet mother leaves breakfast neatly outside her children's door before sealing herself away forever. Or even take the example of most celebrated playwright of his time dies in a shabby Paris hotel, staring at a wallpaper he hated more than life is simply deaths or carefully staged finales, like the chapter they had already written it in their mind. I am Fiza and welcome to my channel A Cup of Tea. And in today's video, we are going to talk about authors who died in the most tragic ways possible. Today, we are not opening their books, we are opening their lives. October 1849, Baltimore. A man is found slumped in a gutter outside a devil. He's delirious, wearing clothes that don't belong to him. This says that he kept muttering one name over and over again, Reynolds. That man was Edgar Allan Poe, the master of Gothic horror, the writer who gave us The Raven and The Telltale Heart. But his own death became as haunting as his stories. He was taken to hospital where for 4 days he drifted in and out of consciousness. He never explained who Reynolds really was. He never explained why he was dressed as a stranger. Suddenly, he was gone. People say that his death was caused due to alcohol poisoning, even rabies. Some said it was political kidnapping. The truth, no one knows. The father of American horror died in mystery, as if life decided to write him a story that even he could not finish. Fast forward a century, February 1963, London. Sylvia Plath, just 30 years old, was at the height of her task. She had written The Bell Jar and some of the most powerful confessional poetry ever put on paper. But her personal life was crumbled, abandoned by her husband, isolated in a freezing London flat, and raising two children all by herself. On her final morning, she did something chillingly deliberate. She prepared a tray with bread and milk and placed it neatly outside the children's bedroom. She sealed the crack of their rooms with towels so that no gas would seep in. Finally, she walked into the kitchen, opened the oven door, and lay her head inside. A day her children lived, but she did not. Here's where the story turns almost supernatural. 6 years later, Asia Weber, the woman Sylvia's husband left her for, died in the exact same way. Gas oven, suicide, also with her daughter beside her. Coincidence or a curse that followed? When you read Sylvia's poetry filled with fire, ice, and death, you can't help but ask, was she writing poems or living wordings? But Sylvia Plath wasn't the only writer who seemed to write her own death into existence. Across the world, in Japan, another author struggled with despair so deep that even literature could not save him. His name was Osamu Tezuka, and unlike many others, he did not just try once, he tried again and again until June 1948. This time, he and his lover, Tommy Yamazaki, tied themselves together with a cord and slipped into Tokyo's gutter. Their bodies weren't found until 6 days later, and the day their bodies was found, it was Dazai's birthday. Was it the final act of doomed romance, or the inevitable ending of a man who believed he was already no longer human? Not all authors' mysteries end in death. Some remain unsolved forever. December 1926, Agatha Christie, the world's most famous crime writer, simply vanished. Her car was discovered abandoned by the side of the road. Inside her car, her driver license was found. Her clothes were there, but there was no sign of her. The nation erupted in panic. Police, volunteers, and even fellow writers like Arthur Conan Doyle searched for her. Newspaper ran headlines every day. Was she kidnapped, murdered, or hiding from something or someone? For 11 days, there was nothing. And then suddenly, she was found in a hotel, living under a false name. When she was questioned, she claimed that she had no memory of how she got there. It was strange. People say that it was nervous breakdown after her husband admitted an affair, or others think that it was an elaborate revenge against him. Some even suggest that it was publicity stunt. But Agatha never spoke about it. To her death, she kept the secret of those missing 11 days. The queen of crime left behind her greatest unsolved case, her own disappearance. Then there was Ernest Hemingway. the great adventurer, the war correspondent, the Nobel Prize winning author who gave us The Old Man and the Sea. But behind the legend was a man unraveling depression, paranoia, failing health. These things haunted him in his final years. Quiet morning in July 1961, in his Dahoo cabin, Hemingway unlocked his shotgun, pressed it against himself, and pulled the trigger. It was violent, it was tragic. But when you look at his novels, he was obsessed with courage, with death, and life is staring in the face. You realize maybe he had been rehearsing this ending all along. So, what do we make of these endings? Poe in a gutter, whispering Reynolds, Plath in her kitchen, leaving bread and milk for her children. Desai in the river, found on his birthday, Christie vanishing into thin air, her secret never revealed. Hemingway in his cabin, ending his story with a single shot. Were these tragedies of life or were they final acts? As if authors, the masters of the words, could not help but write their own last chapters. Maybe that's why we still read them, not just for the stories, but because their lives remind us that sometimes the line between fiction and reality is terrifyingly thin. That's it for today's video. If you want a part 2 of this video, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye.